hump day. What day is it, Mike? What day is it,
Mike. Guess what day it is?
It's hump day.
Hump day.
Guys, welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. I'm Anthony Totri.
Yeah, you are.
This guy right here is Senor Hump Day himself, Shawn DePaz.
Yeah, I am, I guess.
Shawn, how you doing?
You know, I'm feeling good. Got a little coffee. Spelled my name wrong, as per usual. Got my hair in a ponytail for the first time in my entire life.
I fuck with it.
Thank you. I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time.
It's a weird experience because it was the same thing for me when I had a man bun. It's a weird thing to like go through.
Yeah, I'm so happy about it. Happy Donald's here. Donald talking about the Diamondbacks being a fucking wagon and our fucking awesome new shirt. If you haven't seen it, go to the PHNX locker right now. New Diamondbacks wagon shirt, just in time for the playoffs. It looks dope as shit, but yeah, I'm feeling good. You know, like I said, got my coffee, got my hair in a ponytail. Oh, Donald's Die Hard box came in.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
What shirt did you get, Donald?
Yeah, gotta let us know. We were talking about Donald the other day. Donald just kind of popped up out of nowhere, and he became one of our like our biggest fan. I rock with you heavy.
Legit a diehard.
Yeah, legitimately a diehard. How are you doing, Tony?
Tony, yeah. No, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Anytime it's funny when I go out and get like coffee, or anytime they ask me for like my name, and anytime I go to a place I always say Tony, but like nobody ever calls me Tony. Yeah. Everyone's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I like instinctively when I'm behind you at Starbucks and you're like Tony, I just like it.
Just right behind me.
Also, can we talk about the guy that was sitting behind him and played at the Diamondbacks game that was 100% in the Mafia?
Yeah,
like,
see?
Fedora, suit, like dust. It was crazy. It was crazy.
1920s energy for sure.
See?
Yeah. See? Yeah. Old Curly on the mound. No, that's exactly what that looked like. Look, enough about Old Curly and the strangers at the White Sox Diamondbacks game. We've got a lot to get into today. Some news out of Tempe that we're going to get to start the show. But before we do that, a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about Bobby Hurley and the ASU basketball team because they've got availability for the first time today, and they've got their first practice as well to kick off the new season. So we're sending Tim over there. Tim's going to go get us some sound that we'll have for you guys on tomorrow's show with Jemiah Neal, Bobby Hurley, and Frankie Collins. So definitely stick around for that tomorrow. We're going to be talking a little bit about what Justin Wilcox had to say about Arizona State in that upcoming matchup. And then also, we're going to go ahead and talk about Will Shaffer.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about DeAndre Ayton, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we going to have any Ayton talk?
Do you want to start with Will Shaffer, or do you want to start with DeAndre Ayton?
Let's save DeAndre Ayton for the end.
Okay, then let's get into Will Shaffer. Yeah, Sun Devil linebacker Will Shaffer announced this morning his intentions to redshirt and then also transfer. So he will be entering the transfer portal. I've had a couple discussions today kind of revolving around the whole Will Shaffer situation, because for a while it felt like Will Shaffer was going to be a starter next to Trey Brown. And obviously Tate Romney has kind of taken that spot, and he's really flourished. Mm-hmm. So to shout out, I guess, Tate Romney. But as it relates to Will Shaffer, this has nothing to do with NIL. This has nothing to do with any of that stuff.
Playing time. Yeah,
it's just a kid that's, he's dealing with stuff. So that's all I'm going to really say about it. Don't want to get too deep into the thick of it, but for everybody, I know there's multiple people that anytime at this point they see somebody transfer or enter the transfer portal, a lot of it has to do with, it's got to be NIL. It's got to be, he's going to go chase a bag. That's not necessarily the case with Will Shaffer. And I'm going to be honest, like outside of any conversations I've had, it just never felt like it was a great fit for Will Shaffer in Arizona State, at least defensively, scheme-wise. And then you look at last year, they had their two guys, and Kyle Sully and Merlin Robertson. Those two guys were here for some time, and then you move on to this year, and you've got a guy in Trey Brown and then Tate Romney. So obviously we wish him the absolute best, but it does hurt this Arizona State defense, I think, from a linebacker depth perspective.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it firsthand how important depth is for this team this year. Thankfully, not at that specific position.
Yeah.
But
there's only, I want to say, 6 scholarship linebackers now.
Yeah. So it definitely hurts. I mean, even though he ultimately didn't end up being one of the starters, like there was a reason that we thought he had a good chance at being one, because he's a very talented football player. And so it obviously is never great to lose a guy like that. He's been in the studio before on the High Point. Seems like a good dude. Not that I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm best friends with him. Yeah. But it's definitely unfortunate. Wish him the best for sure. But as long as he doesn't like go to U of A or something.
Yeah, the U of A thing would be a little bit of a tough sell.
That one, like that one, you know what you're doing at that point if you do that. And at that point, we are going to have to hate you, but that's just part of the business.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with him. That has everything to do with the decision.
Yeah, it's the jersey, the logo, which Damon insists is a good logo. It's just an A.
It's not a good logo.
It's like it's not like I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's an ugly logo because there's plenty of those, but it's just
barely a logo. It's the letter A. It's the letter A with colors on it.
And you get smoked by all of ASU's logos. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah.
The pitchfork and Sparky.
You can't beat the pitchfork. You can't beat the pitchfork.
Leah's back there furiously nodding her head up and down, agreeing with us.
Yeah, she said yes.
She said right.
Yeah, no, look, back to Will Shaffer. Obviously, I want to talk a little bit about the depth of this team because I don't want people to throw the Will Shaffer situation versus the Juju Mitchell situation are two wildly different scenarios. Juju Mitchell was kicked off the team. Quote unquote dismissed he was rightfully dismissed from the team. I'm trying to do it without throwing him under the but Will Shaffer, it's a completely different situation. These are two very different kinds of players and linebackers, to be honest with you. I think it does hurt the Arizona State defense because you look moving forward. I believe Tate Romney's a little bit younger, so he has eligibility left, but I don't know about Trey Brown. I think Trey Brown's a little bit older. So when it comes to a guy like Will Shaffer, I think the expectation is, right, that you play a little bit this year and then you get kind of thrust into that starting spot next year alongside Tate Romney, which I feel like for him and how many other kids, at least in this era of college football, are just like, I don't want to wait anymore.
Yeah, no, and I can't really blame, like, you know, like college football careers are short. Like, I don't know. I'm just the kind of guy, like, I just want to be playing. Like, if I played a lot of sports and I was never very good at them, so I spent a lot of time on the bench.
But you want to play.
But you want to play. Like, you just want this. You didn't sign up to sit on the bench. So like I'm never. Yeah, I mean it. Again, unfortunate situation, obviously, but like, yeah, I don't think you want it. You want to be in a situation where you know, especially like you said in today's day and age of college football, like, where you know that you're going to play, you're going to get that playing time, and you're going to be, like, you can be the guy. And Will's plenty talented enough to be that somewhere. Obviously, just didn't work out here. So, yeah, but, I just, again, like you said, and like I feel like we say every time, like, there's certain situations, obviously, where your kids are on some, for lack of a better term, fuck shit, and they, like, you know, they deserve a little bit of I don't want to say hate thrown their way, but like they deserve not necessarily. Yeah, exactly. But like by and large, in these situations, it's like, hey, you really don't know. You don't know what's going on. You like how often do kids transfer to get closer to home, or because for any variety of reasons.
Horn.
Exactly, right. Yeah. And so, and at the end of the day, unless they come out and say, or you get some like legitimate report that they're like, fuck this school, fuck all its fans.
Yeah.
Then like.
And this is your legitimate report. That's not the case. That's not the case.
So you have every reason to root for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It does suck. And I think it also, at least at this point in the season, right, after this week, we are now, or I guess what, we've already played, there was Southern Utah, Oklahoma State, Fresno State, USC. You're already a third of the way done with the college football season, which is, holy crap, I can't believe that that's the case. Like, you're getting ready now for Game 5, and obviously, these next 8 games are wildly important to the success of the program moving forward. Obviously, there's a bowl ban, so they're not going to be playing in a bowl game. But you want to talk about, I mean, attracting eyes to this program while also in this day and age of college athletics where you have to almost re-recruit these kids every single year.
Yeah.
And I think a guy like Will Shaffer, who was at Saguaro High School, his head coach, I do believe, was Jason Mons when he was at Saguaro. We know how many Saguaro guys, Javen Jacobs, et cetera, are on this roster. And it's just like, that doesn't mean that they're untouchable from leaving. Like, that doesn't mean that they won't enter the portal. And I think it, you know, again, I know Will Shaffer wasn't a starter. He may have not been a household name yet, not to say he could never reach that potential at ASU. But I think it goes without saying that, like, eventually you're going to get to a spot. And I know everybody loves Dilly, but every team deals with transfers. Every single team across the board, and that's going to be the case again, which is almost why it's a little bit tough to like get attached to these players on these teams that are like so damn good, because at the end of the day, you're just like,
yeah,
I just want you to stay.
Yeah, I mean, Donald brought him up. It's just now in the chat, like Eric Gentry. That one's always going to hurt a little bit.
That one's going to hurt us more than it's going to hurt a lot of people. But yeah, look, Eric Gentry, Jaden Daniels, Emery, Ricky, like these are all players that.
I mean, Ricky's a Tempe kid too.
These are all kids that like they all had their moments for ASU at some point.
And also, I don't think we ever talked about it on the show. Ricky Pearsall had one hell of a moment for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, that was
damn.
That catch was
ridiculous.
That catch was absolutely ridiculous. Tony in the chat. Oh, by the way, Dilly's high school commit Dylan Tapley is taking an official pack visit to AZ this weekend. Good for you, Tony. I mean, I don't know if you're trying to get a ride out of us for it. Tony. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for the coffee, Tony. I really do appreciate that. No, look, that's going to do it on the conversation, at least for Will Shaffer. Again, we wish him the absolute best. And JJ brings it up like a Remy Martin type, like, you're gonna lose kids. That's the name of college sports right now, and it's only gonna get more intense year over year, I feel like. So it sucks to happen in the middle of the season, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and you gotta hope that Brian Ward and AJ Cooper can get the rest of those linebackers up to speed. A guy in Kavion Thunderbird, who I think is slowly going to make some noise this season, maybe in the back half for Arizona State, and next year. Kavion Thunderbird he's a fun guy.
I feel like if your last name is Thunderbird, you have to just kind of be good at football in Arizona.
That's
like
fair.
It just seems like inevitable. Do you get like automatic membership to the Thunderbirds if your last name's Thunderbird? Because that also should be how it works.
It should be.
But yeah, nah. Like
I mean, who's going to deny a 6', 210-pound linebacker any membership in anything?
Yeah, especially if his last name is the name of the fucking group. Anyways, yeah, I mean, it's obviously that's the I guess whenever somebody leaves, like the positive side of it is
you get to see some.
It's an opportunity for somebody else that you might not have gotten to see otherwise. So it is, yeah. I mean, honestly, like if you're an ASU fan, there's not a whole lot of point either in like wasting energy really caring about what Will does if he's going to leave.
Again, unless he goes to U of A.
Well, then
you have
we have beef. But
that's everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, again, it's an opportunity to see someone that you might not have gotten to see before. And again, like you said, so a guy like Thunderbird, who hopefully is going to be here next year. I mean, and that's the other side of this too, right? Like kids want opportunities to play, they don't, or else they might transfer. Well, now you're giving a guy like Thunderbird an opportunity to play, and hopefully you don't have to worry about him transferring. Not that necessarily was a problem, like something you had to worry about anyways. But
that's a really solid point.
So it'll be really interesting to see. But and hopefully, and also it's just experience. Like it's if he's going to be a part of this team for next year or however long, like to get him playing time, however much playing time he's able to get now is just only going to benefit to his development. So, silver linings, I guess. Obviously, again, sucks to lose Will, but silver linings.
Yeah, it's college athletics. Look, I do want to get into what Cal's head coach Justin Wilcox had to say about Arizona State. We're going to do that, but before we do that, I want to tell you guys about 4 Peaks. I couldn't get my hands on a pumpkin porter today. That's literally why I went to Starbucks and got the pumpkin cream cold brew or whatever, because I needed something pumpkin in my life today. And look, Starbucks satisfied me today, but 4 Peaks does it every single other day. We've talked about it. We've been hyped about it for the last month that pumpkin porter
You're wearing a pumpkin colored shirt.
Back. Are you kidding me? Also, this Coyote shirt goes absolutely stupid.
It is a 4 Peaks shirt.
It goes crazy. It's honestly one of my favorite shirts that we have. Guys, get in the fall state of mind with notes of nutmeg, allspice, and toasted pie crust. God, I love me some pie crust, or just pies in general. It's back on the shelves and in draft lines throughout the valley. We had people in California asking us to try and get some of it to them. So if you're in the valley, go just try it one time, because there are folks everywhere that wish that they could try it.
I know we got the DNVR buff folk coming down. We're gonna have to show them.
They're going to get – that's going to be one of many lessons that they learn when they're here in a couple of weeks.
I was thinking about this. I know that the hater thing is really you, but I want to get a white cowboy hat for that week. Like a white cowboy hat and wear my sunglasses on the show. I very badly want to do it. And I think if we both did it, it would be very funny. But that's a conversation to have.
Wait. I'll have my people talk to you.
Okay.
People. Yeah, we'll get on that. Visit 4peaks.com/locator to find all your favorite brewery tours and events. Stein holding Oktoberfest and Haunted Brewery tours are right around the corner. Check out at 4 Peaks Brewer, at 4 Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You do got to be 21 or older to drink 4 Peaks, and please drink responsibly.
One of our other great sponsors, right, member of the family, friends over at OGs.
Yeah.
Did you see the meme they tweeted out?
Yeah, I did.
With Kevin James.
I've been waiting to find a good ASU tweet with it.
You better not have eaten all the OGs by the time they get home. Shrugging Kevin James. I thought of you immediately, to be quite honest.
Me?
Yes.
Why?
Because you love OGs, dog. What do you mean?
I do, and I love memes.
Yeah, I know. So,
shout out Max, because Max lost a bet with me and Emma, so now he owes each of us a pack of OGs, a whole pack of OGs, because he's a big dummy.
He is a big dummy, but we love Max.
We do love Max.
There would be no OGs without Max, so shout out. But you need to get your hands on some OGs yourself, is what I was trying to say. I've been struggling recently with just getting.
It's okay, man. You got it.
Because I'm,
eye on the
might be
OGs.
off the OGs.
Yeah, there it is.
You can get off the OGs yourself. Head over to ogsbrands.com or to one of your local dispensary to check out one or a few of their many delicious flavors. Check them out across all socials at OG's Brands and online at ogsbrands.com to find them at a local dispensary near you. You must be 21 or older to enjoy responsibly.
That's foul.
Is that?
That's foul.
Oh no.
That's foul, dude.
That's so.
Oh no!
People on the internet, dog.
Okay, let's get to what Justin Wilcox had to say about Arizona State. Look, this is
Did you see Donald's question? He said pumpkin flavored anything can get rocks, but the amount of 4 Peaks I'm going to consume whenever I'm home is going to go dumb.
It's going to go dumb. It's going to go stupid. It's going to go all the things.
Go stupid. Hey.
Look,
go crazy.
Cal football. Let's talk about Cal football for a second before we get into.
Are you about to disrespect Cal football?
I'm about to disrespect.
Come
Cal
on,
football.
dog.
Look, Cal football sucks.
When will you learn
that? What?
That your actions have consequences.
Why? Why will they have consequences?
Because Cal's a good football.
No, it's
not. They are solid, dog.
Who's their starting quarterback this week?
Finley.
No. They don't even know who's the starting quarterback. After listening to the press conference, they got 2 guys fighting for that starting spot now.
Okay, well, the last time we played a team that had multiple guys playing quarterback,
we don't talk about that. That's in the past.
I'm just saying, put some. Cal deserves some respect, and also
why do they deserve respect? Tell me why they deserve to have any sort of respect.
They just put big investments into their football facilities this past offseason, I believe.
Okay, I just invested in my caffeine intake. You don't want to
So Starbucks deserves some damn respect. You invested in Starbucks. They deserve some damn respect. And they're just better this year. They're like a better football team. They're respectable. They've won a game already.
Yeah, they've won a game already. But they're being look.
What are you going to say that you don't deserve respect if you only have one win? Is that what you're going to say?
That's not what I'm going to say. That's not what I'm going to say. If you'd let me finish.
Okay, go off.
Look. Cal football last year was like the equivalent of a turd. It just wasn't great.
Stop this.
It was awful. It was horrible.
You're making me root for Cal now, and that was not
Cal is not good.
Shane,
what, you gonna phone a friend here?
Yes, I should. This is unbelievable.
Cal is not good. They don't deserve.
Okay, newsflash, dog. ASU's not that good either. So what are we talking about
here?
They're
better than Cal.
I hope so. I think so too, but that doesn't mean Cal's bad. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Cal is a respectable football team, and they deserve some respect. Granted, it is Cal. I think ASU is better, but put some respect on Cal's name.
But my question is why?
I just told you why. They're not bad. They're a solid football team. Why not?
Because it just doesn't fit.
Exactly.
They don't deserve it.
You're being calloused.
Calloused?
Yes.
Really? That's yes. The best you could come up with.
No, it's like it's a play on words.
Not that.
It's like calloused also. Like.
Look who's in the chat.
Thank you. I phoned a friend and he answered. Let's go. All the way from Green Bay. That rhymes. Yes, he's out here disrespecting Cal. He called him a piece of shit, a literal turd. He called him a literal turd. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it.
This is what Justin Wilcox had to say about the ASU coaching staff.
Yeah, I would. Both those guys are really good coaches. Cal
Kenny has done a great job on offense. Bo's a heck of an offensive coach. So they'll have a good plan. That's not the question. I think maybe it gets overstated once you have either worked with somebody or competed against somebody that all of a sudden you know every play. Well, you don't know when they're going to run them, even if you knew what the plays were. I mean, we practice against ourselves every day, and one side of the ball wins a given play, and they see each other every day. So I think that's probably overstated. Obviously, there's certain things they like to do that's shown up on tape, but our job is going to be, play really good fundamental defense and have great leverage and run to the football and tackle well and win some one-on-ones in the run and pass game, and that's what it'll take to play well against these guys because they're a talented outfit and they'll be well coached.
Yeah, Justin Wilcox doesn't know what to do with his hands when he's at his press conference. This is exactly what he was doing at the start of this.
I didn't hear a thing he said. I was so distracted by his hands.
His hands in his hoodie the entire time. Goku in the chat. Here we go.
Where's Jay Norvell now? We were complaining about take your hands out of your pockets when you're talking to somebody. Come on now. What are we doing?
Goku, they only lost to Auburn 14-10. That says something.
Yeah, put some respect on their
Auburn
name.
is not what they used to be.
SEC football team in the state of Alabama. That's it. I don't care if they lose every game. The fact that Cal competed against them.
You don't care if they lose every game?
No, it's still
if they went winless, but they lost to Auburn by 4, you'd sit here and tell me that they deserve respect?
Yes.
That's just...
I think competing against Auburn...
I don't even think you believe that.
No, I don't. But I think in this circumstance, competing against Auburn, it is sign that they are a respectable team. They deserve some respect.
Will gets it. Offense under Wilcox has been turds for years. Not just turds. They have a decent defense, which is on the same level as ASU's D. Yeah,
okay.
That's Wilcox's thing, is they've got a better defense, but their offense has been abysmal for years on end.
Oh, because our offense has been a juggernaut this year.
I didn't say that. You're putting word. I didn't say that.
No, but you're acting like that Cal is just like leaps and bounds below ASU, and I don't think that's even close to the case. I think that these are two relatively like equal teams, and it's going to be competitive.
I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about the program.
Yeah, Cal has not been a great program in history. It hasn't. Okay, but also like
you remember how shit they were last year?
Yes, I know.
They won 3 games.
I know. How many did ASU win? Shh. Exactly. Like I'm just saying, you're acting like they're in another world of bad. This isn't like Arizona a few years ago. Granted, this Cal was the one team that Arizona beat, but they had like half of their roster out due to COVID. I'm just saying, it's not like you're acting. There's a reason they are 13-point favorites. They're solid, and their program is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, sometimes
so
the books get it wrong.
Deserves some respect. That's all I'm saying. I think ASU is going to win this game. I think ASU is a more talented roster. I think they're going to end up having the better quarterback. But Cal just deserves a little bit of respect.
I mean, yeah, that's fair, I guess.
Oh. No, it's fair now. Okay.
A measly ounce of respect is what I'll give them.
Well, you're making me lump loads of respect onto them to make up for your complete and utter disrespect.
You're lumping loads on the respect of Cal? That's what you're doing? Okay. That's your words, not mine. All I'm saying. Look, Justin Wilcox was talking about, obviously, Kenny Dillingham and Bo Baldwin and their familiarity that they have. Obviously, Kenny calling plays for Oregon's offense last year, and then Bo Baldwin at one point was a Cal offensive coordinator. You worked at Cal Poly, all that good stuff. But there's a little bit of familiarity, but Wilcox was talking about how these two coaches, I feel like they have started to build their own offense. Obviously, Kenny has his offense. Mm-hmm. Bo has his. Kenny's obviously calling the plays now. So we saw just how different it was last week when Kenny was calling the plays versus Bo. So I think that does bode in thanks. That does bode in ASU's favor moving forward. But another thing that helps ASU out is the fact that, guess what? They've got a guy in Cam Skattebo. They've got a guy in Elijhah Badger. Yeah, the best punter and quarterback in the country, Cam Skattebo, the 2023 Heisman winner.
Running back.
He's an all right running back. But yeah, look, Wilcox was asked about the weapons that Arizona State has, specifically in Elijhah Badger and Skattebo, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, they move them around. They use those guys a lot of different ways. You mentioned the running back is a talented guy. He's thrown passes. I mean, he threw a pass on 4th and 5 or 4th and 7 in their own territory last week for a first down. They put him in Wildcat and run it. He can do a lot of different things. Badger, the number 2, they got weapons. They're playing a fair amount of transfers as well. The tight end is a very good player, number 12. They use him a lot of different ways. They get him the ball down the field. They get him the ball in the screen game. So they find ways to get their playmakers the ball, and they do it with a bunch of formations and motions, and they do a good job with it.
Yeah, Wilcox giving a little love to
Tell me
Scat.
something I don't know.
Badger, Jalen. That's what separates Cal and Arizona State from me.
Yeah,
The sheer weapons that Arizona State has, and I feel like we've talked about it a lot, but I feel like we're still waiting on the breakout game for one of these guys. I think Scat gave us his breakout game last week against SC with everything that he did, but ASU fans and really the country and the pack have yet to see a breakout game from EK this season. They've yet to see a breakout game from Jalen. They've yet to see a breakout game from D'Lo.
Yeah.
From some of these guys who certainly are capable of putting together some really, really solid games. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens opposite of Elijhah Badger this week, because Andre Johnson was getting reps with the ones at a certain point this week, and X was back out. So it's interesting to see how they're going to be able to utilize all of the weapons they have on offense, specifically this week against the defense that Kenny said yesterday is more of a chess, not checkers kind of defense. Is there, and I know we'll get into this later on in the week of like players specifically, but is there somebody in the offense that you really want to see just have a breakout game outside of quarterback?
I mean, you can put any name. I mean, I feel like last week you asked me this question. I said Jalen. It's Jalen again. I mean, also, but like Elijah, I think literally anyone. I just want to see the offense look alive and like someone to go out and dominate. And I think when that happens, it tends to be Elijah, right? He has that big play, explosive ability that can allow, like, all of a sudden you look up and he's got 64 yards in the first half. You're like, oh, okay, he's pretty good. And he's gonna break out a big play. Like he's the guy that's gonna get the crowd on his feet. I know they're at Cal, but I'm just proverbially like he's gonna get the ASU crowd on their feet. Like, so yeah, I just want to see, and I think we've seen, what he can do. I think it's big for Elijah and Jalen just because they are the two that have chemistry that go back the furthest with Trenton Bourguet. And we've seen what those two can do when Trenton Bourguet is the quarterback, and it is not just good, it's pretty damn great.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be, I think I'm going to be looking specifically for him to be going to those guys that he knows can make big plays for him. And if he does that, then I think you're going to look up and you're going to see Jalen Conyers with 2 touchdowns, Elijhah Badger with 120 yards, Trenton Bourguet with 400-some yards passing, like we've seen him do before. So, yeah, I think I kind of cheated by giving you 2 answers, but I think it's those 2 guys that Trenton Bourguet kind of goes back a little bit with.
Look, I think either one of them would be awesome. I think EK opens up the game a little bit more for the rest of the offense than Jalen does. But with that same note, when Trenton Bourguet has been in the game, to your point, like it's been pretty clear that his favorite target is Jalen Conyers, and a lot of that has to do with just their connection and their relationship. Like Jalen he's a safety blanket for really all of these quarterbacks, 100%. And he should be because of his size, his ability, et cetera, his speed. Like he is a unicorn of a tight end for sure, and I think any offense would benefit. And I think this is going to be, I know both the defenses are better than they've been in the past. I know both these defenses are the strong suit of these teams, but I have a feeling this game might be a little bit of a shootout between ASU and Cal. And I think if that's the case, I think ASU wins simply based off the fact that I trust Elijhah Badger and Jalen Conyers more than I trust any 2 skill guys on the Cal roster. That's just simply how it goes. And not to mention that this is an ASU offense that we've talked about has grown, it feels like, week over week outside of that Fresno State game. And we're not the only ones taking notice. Justin Wilcox was asked about the growth of the ASU offense over the last few weeks, specifically as it relates to the USC game, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, I think they have weapons. As we've seen, game to game, a lot can change. The dynamics of the game, there's a lot that goes into all that. But ultimately, they put up more points. They move the ball. They've been very aggressive. They've been very aggressive, whether it's fourth downs or fake punts or onside kicks this season, and they are multi-formational personnel groupings, motions, things like that. So they're getting a lot of different players involved, and they do it out of a lot of different looks. And last week they moved the ball well and put it in the end zone quite often against a very talented team.
That's going to be like a unique challenge for this ASU offense, right? Is I think by and large the offense caught USC off guard last week with a lot of the stuff they were trying to do, especially early on in the game. Yeah. Cal's going to be on their toes, and like we kind of just touched on earlier, Cal's defense is solid, and so they are going to be looking for them to do some of the weird stuff that they did last week, and so it's going to be the bar for what this ASU offense is going to have to do execution wise is going to be higher. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how they respond to that challenge and to see, what they didn't pull out last week, to see what other tricks they might have up their sleeve, if any, that they can pull out against this Cal team, or if, it's just going to be interesting to see kind of how they attack this. Because again, they've been doing all this creative stuff, and Donald said it, and I've said it on a couple of shows now. Like, I thought against USC, they did not feed Scat enough. Scat needs
against SC.
Yes, I feel like Scat needs more carries in general. So I would like to see him get more against this Cal offense or defense, which is like almost like they're on their toes expecting all this weird shit. If you just go old school and you just pound the rock with Scat, I think you can find hopefully some success that way too. So it's just going to be really interesting to see how they attack a defense that is going to be expecting them to pull out all of these kind of weird tricks.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be unique, but I think that's what makes Kenny one of the great offensive minds in college football, is that he is able to adapt and evolve his offenses week over week, and he's able to utilize players' skill sets that you didn't see the week before, right? Last week, it was utilizing what Scat was capable of doing. Not to say he's not going to be utilized heavily this week as well, but you bring in guys like an Andre Johnson and Xavier Guillory, a Jalen Conyers, the way they utilize him, Bryce Pierre, Messiah Swinson, right? There are so many different guys on this roster that they are all talented, but they have such unique and different skill sets that I think it's a blank canvas for Kenny every single week, how he wants to attack a defense with a new weapon, right? This week we could see EK go for 10 catches, $120 and 2 touchdowns in a unique way. We could see Jalen do the same. We could see Andre Johnson. We could see Xavier Guillory. We still yet to see Javen Jacobs. There are a bunch of Melquan Stovall, Gio Sanders. There are so many guys that are capable of having those types of games. And I think once, to your point that you made yesterday, once this offense has a quarterback that they know is the guy week in, week out, then I think that they can start to get the offense moving in that way of okay, we don't have to worry about this anymore. We don't have to worry about who's under center every single game. And we can start to worry a little bit more of how we attack these defenses. How do we carve them up, right? Because it's different every single week. Your approach to USC is going to be far different than it is to a Cal defense that is much better than the USC defense. So it is certainly going to be a unique game. And I know for most of the week, I've already said that I think ASU wins this game outright, but I think certainly that they cover. I think 13 points
seems egregious.
Far too many points for a team in ASU that you just don't know enough about. I feel like there's not enough on paper of what Kenny and Trenton can do.
Yeah.
To have them be 2 touchdown underdogs.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of it just made me think of it. The weird part of this is that there is no real way to game plan for a Kenny offense under or with Trenton Bourguet at the helm. You haven't seen it before. So you don't really know what to expect. And the reality is this offense is going to look different depending on which of the quarterbacks is under center. Kind of the opposite of what I was saying earlier with them expecting the weird stuff. You don't really know what to expect as far as, like I said, a Trenton Bourguet-led, Kenny Dillingham called offense. So it is going to be interesting to see if just again how different this offense is going to look from last week.
Yeah. Donald, Totri needs a cow tattoo for all the slander. Look, man, I don't need a cow tattoo. That's the last thing that I need. A cow bear. Maybe I will get a Pac-12 tattoo or something.
RIP
at some point. An RIP Pac-12. Look, I want to talk. We're going to continue talking Cal and ASU throughout the remainder of the week. We do have a reporter that covers Cal that we're going to get to on tomorrow's show. Like I said earlier, Bobby Hurley, ASU Basketball, they start their season when they got it feels like it's right around the corner, to be honest with you. And they've got their first official practice. Jake Payne in the chat, is Dillingham the play caller? Yes, he is calling plays again this week. So you can continue to see some of the trickery and the hopeful success that ASU fans saw last week. But before we dive into Bobby Hurley and ASU Basketball, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Illegal Pete's. We had Illegal Pete's at the start of the week. It was shmoney.
Magnifico.
It was shmoney is what I'm going to use to describe it from now on.
Magnifico.
Their margaritas that we had last week, the strawberry margarita,
Magnifico,
is one of the best strawberry margaritas and one of the strongest margaritas that I ever had, to be honest with you. I've never, like, 2 margaritas and I was ready to,
not even one.
I was ready to start dancing on the mill, dude. I was ready to go. Tacos are great. The burritos are good. The queso, the guac, all of it over at Illegal Pete's. It smacks, guys. It is your go-to spot this summer, this fall, this winter, whatever season that you want to call it. That's what we'll have. Stop by for happy hour, 3 p.m. through 8 p.m. every day at all 12 locations. We seriously, you said that yesterday. We do not take advantage of that enough.
At all. No. We need
3 p.m. through 8 p.m. That's a long happy hour.
Yeah. We could go after work and spend several hours there.
We should.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Guys, Illegal Pete's, the go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer for 28 years.
And your go-to spot for fan merchant or for team merchandise and things of the sort? Got 4 letters for you. FOCO. It's FOCO, baby. They're the leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise. They got, clothes. You can get hats like we got over here.
I love that hat.
It's playoff season, baby. Get your Diamondback stuff for the playoffs. Get your ASU stuff. Hockey, basketball coming back. Get it all from FOCO. Bobbleheads, clothes, things of the sort. All officially licensed gear. They always have our back for Arizona sports and our heads. And they have yours too. So get the best gear around by visiting www.foco.com and using code PHNX for all non-presale items. Use that code PHNX for 10% off.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it right now.
Right now.
All right. Let's talk Bobby Hurley and ASU basketball because Sun Devils starting off practice, both the men's and women's. Natasha Adair, her team, I believe, is starting practice today as well to get the season going. Shawn, I feel like it's been forever since we've talked ASU basketball, but I almost got chills when I was talking about like Bobby Hurley to open the show. I'm like, damn, it's kind of fun.
We're playing.
It's you know what it's like.
Ball.
You know what it is like. It is like, obviously the season didn't end the way we wanted to against TCU in the tourney. ASU basketball, at least what it feels like right now, and I don't want this to be taken out of context, is like you go through a bad breakup and like it's just you stop, like you get in one fight and it's done, and then you don't go months to like talking to this person, and then like somebody brings up the name or like you're like, I'm gonna see him. You're like, ooh, like we're gonna talk ASU basketball. That's what we're gonna do. Like, okay, I can talk ASU basketball. Yeah, that's exactly what this is like. Because I know Bobby Hurley and that team hurt us last year in the tournament. I know everybody that entered the transfer portal, everybody and their mother that entered the transfer portal, and now we're back and we're like a couple weeks away from getting college basketball. I was like, ooh,
that's the unique
thing. I'm sitting here like kicking my legs up, like, ooh, okay, let's talk ASU basketball.
That's the unique thing about college sports is none of these other teams have to go through, or none of the other beats have to go through this toxic relationship where it's like you get all hyped up for football, and then football lets you down. It's like, well, at least I got basketball to look forward to, and then you get all hyped up for basketball, and it's
basketball
like,
usually starts hot.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, this is going, and then they let you down. It's like, at least football's not too far away, and then it's just a cycle. And that's where, because I distinctly remember at the end of the basketball season being like, at least we've got football. How is that gone?
It's gone.
Some of us aren't from Arizona, and it shows.
Yeah, that's just fair.
But I kind of like the cycle.
I kind of do too.
I wish it wasn't this. Like, I wish we were competing for national championships every year. But
I called it a toxic relationship. Hey, I kind of like toxic, though. It's fun.
I'll settle for 4-point wins over Tarleton State.
Yeah.
You turn me up, baby. Like, that's what we get into, right? Like, and we talked about it, and we've already talked a lot about just what ASU going to the Big 12 means for football. But, like, this is the last year for Pac-12 basketball as it sits now, too. Like that Pac-12 tourney in Vegas for the last time is gonna be a fucking.
It's gonna hit.
It's gonna be a blast.
It's gonna be so sad. It's gonna be like going to your own funeral.
If the Pac-12 basketball season goes any way that the Pac-12 football season has gone, it is going to be an absolutely electric time because the football teams have been on a different level.
Yeah.
If you're telling me we get 2-3 top 10 teams, like, and I don't know if the conference has that, but if they get to that point, if you've got teams like in Oregon State, in Arizona State, a Washington, like week in and week out, just beating teams up and down the court the way that the football teams are, not with those like specific programs, but if they're able to compete like that, then you are going to get maybe one of the best Pac-12 basketball seasons ever too.
Yeah, we'll see. Looking forward to it. Zona Tucson saying they'll be at the Pac-12 tournament in Vegas. We've been there the last 2 years. It's
been a
hard
vibe.
time believing we'll miss the last one.
Yeah, I will be there regardless.
I will be there no matter what.
I will be there. You putting that out there right now? You're gonna be there no matter what.
Oh, I was more referencing the meme, but I mean, shit, I want to be there. I don't know where I'm gonna be in March, but yeah, like I would like to be in Vegas.
It's gonna be an absolute blast. Look, the season is gonna be a lot of fun. Is there anybody specifically that you're super excited to see out there in a Sun Devil uniform for the first time?
For the first time, I mean, JJ's in the chat.
Stop it! If you say Zane Meeks,
Zane Meeks, I have to keep the legacy alive. I mean, I can't. Like at this point, all of the transfers are kind of like or new guys, whatever. Like are all kind of question marks to me. So like we've been having a lot of fun with Zane Meeks. I want to see him actually play basketball. Like but to answer your question, like actually, like I don't really have a specific person. This feels like a very new team. Like
yeah, well, it is.
I mean, it is. Yeah, and like last year, obviously there was a little bit more carryover. This year it's Alonzo Gaffney, Jeremiah, and
Frankie.
And a lot of new guys.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of new guys, which means a lot of new storylines, and a lot of guys that I think have super high ceilings. Specifically, a guy in Shawn Phillips, who is another 7-footer that ASU is going to get to utilize. JJ brings up Braylon Green. I know that's another one that Shane is really excited. Shane is excited about Braylon Green, and then Akil Watson as well. Mm-hmm. But you get Ace Wolf, Adam Miller, Stella Bungay, Zane Meeks. Yeah. Like there are Malachi Davis. I think Malachi Davis might be a fun one to see coming off the bench. A guy that, you know, toward the tail end of last season when he was playing JUCO was really, really, really good. Like going for like 40 points a game in JUCO. Like, how does that translate?
Yeah. No, right? It is. I think it's going to be really interesting because it's just, again, there's a lot of question marks with this team. I mean, I feel relatively confident that we know 3 of the 4 got, like, the three big returners from last year are probably all going to be in that starting lineup, you'd have to assume.
What would I think my starting lineup, the way that it's going to roll in my head, which, you know, everything that's in my head just comes to fruition. I think, JJ does bring up a good point. Adam Miller does have to get that waiver, though, and if we've seen anything as it relates to Jake Smith and some of the other guys,
the NCAA will screw you.
I think let's go without. Let's assume that Adam Miller's waiver doesn't go through. Okay. I would say Frankie is at the 1.
Yes.
I would say you probably get Jeremiah at the 2.
Yes.
From that point, I'm gonna say, ooh, this is tough. Give me Kamari at the 3, which is a big 3. It's a really big 3. And then you probably have Celebunge at the 4 and Shawn Phillips at the 5.
Zoe doesn't start?
I don't know, but I could see a world where Zoe and Shawn both start.
Yeah, I was saying Zoe at the 4 and
Shawn is starting.
Yeah, I think Shawn's going to start at the 5. I agree with, I was thinking, Frankie at the 1, Jeremiah at the 2, Zoe at the 4, or Phillips at the 5, and then
your 3, you kind of could throw in a bunch of different guys.
Because you can, and that's what because you can move Jeremiah to the 3 and then play another guard.
Yeah, which is what I think will happen if Adam Miller gets his waiver cleared. I think Ace is probably your 2 and Jeremiah is your 3.
Yeah.
Because this team is big. This is one of the bigger teams I feel like that Bobby has had, at least when it comes to some of their forwards, right? Like Kamari's 6'8", Jeremiah's 6'6", which if he's a 2, that's a big 2. Zane's 6'9", Akil's 6'9", Silabunge's 6'8", Gaffney's 6'9", Shawn Phillips is 7 feet. Like, you've got a couple different guys who are absolute behemoths. Now, their guards are a little bit smaller. This is a small team when it comes to their guards. But, again, I think this is a team, for the first time, we might see Bobby Hurley play a lot of bigger dudes. Will in the chat, ASU's B-ball starting lineup, according to Totri's Zombie. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
No, I was very confused.
Staring
cranberries.
cranberries.
I had no idea what was going on there.
Sure.
I thought that was a joke before I got back on the show.
JJ Gaffney starting. I don't know, dude.
I think he's got to.
But he starts at the 4, right? He's got to start at the 4. Because I think Shawn Phillips is a plus. I think Shawn Phillips is starting. I think Shawn Phillips is starting.
Yeah, like I said, I think you start Gaffney at the 4 and Zoe at the 5. Phillips at the 5. Because Gaffney can, at least in theory, stretch the floor.
In theory?
Well, I mean,
no, yeah, in theory,
he can stretch the floor, right? We've seen him be a good shooter at times and bad at others. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested to see how the freshmen fit in here, because you saw last year that he was more than willing to give freshmen
that's very
important minutes. 2 freshmen who are sadly no longer here. But I'm interested to see, because again, they have 2 very good freshmen in Braylon Green and Akil Watson coming in. I'm very interested to see how they fit in. But I agree with JJ in the chat. Like, I feel Hurley is going to rely heavily on Gaffney's experience. This team doesn't have leaders. That's one thing.
No, but this team is old.
But there's no like, obviously I think Frankie's the point guard. He's going to be the starting point guard. He's going to be a leader. But as far as like Jamal is concerned, not that he can't be a leader, but that's definitely not something he's had to be, right? He's definitely been more of a role player over the last 2 years, I guess. So it'll be really interesting to see. But Alonzo, I think, has always kind of been a consistent presence with this team over the last couple of years. So I think he is probably going to be relied on a decent amount to be a little bit of a leader. But we'll see.
Yeah, Donald's right. Bobby Hurley's begging. He's asking for likes. It's the first time we're talking about Bobby Hurley for the first time in a minute. So do Bobby a favor. Do us a favor. Hit that like button. This is, when I say this is an older team, it is really an older team. Like, Silabunge is a junior. Gaffney's a grad student. Shawn Phillips is one of the younger guys. He's a sophomore. Ace, if he gets his waiver cleared, is a redshirt junior. Obviously, Akil and Braylon are freshmen. Zane Meeks is a senior. Bobby Hurley Jr. is a junior. Jemiah Neal's a junior. Malachi Davis is a junior.
The craziest part about this team, though, is, in theory, like, the whole team, with the exception of Gaffney and Zane Meeks, like, everyone can come back next year. Bryson Long, too. Like, who else is old?
Tony in the chat, does ASU keep Hurley going into the Big 12?
Hurley's a junior, so we still have another year of Bobby Hurley Jr.
Yeah, we do. Yes, I think they do. You would have to have a meltdown.
Well, yeah, I mean, it obviously depends on the season, but they just signed him to an extension, so I think he's going to get to play that out. And I think they signed him to an extension knowing damn well that the Big 12 is a possibility.
I will say this. I think the athletic department is looking for more reasons to keep Bobby Hurley than let him go.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
And it's just because you go to a new conference, I think there are a lot of people that utilize that as a potential excuse to can a coach. I feel like that is the opposite.
Yeah.
I feel like you go into a new conference, you want to kind of keep the stability that you've had in the program, at least for the first year. So, I don't know. JJ in the chat, my wife just heard Shawn in the other room. They won't. They won't what?
Come back, maybe? So, I don't know.
That might be it. That might be it. Because they never do.
Or maybe about us keeping Hurley going into the Big 12. I'm not sure. But I agree with you. Like, I think it is an opportunity. Like, Bobby Hurley is a name, dog. And now you're sending him into a completely new territory. As far as Big 12 country goes, like, it's kind of like a shiny new object. Like, hey, there's a new kid on the block.
No, absolutely.
Their head coach is Bobby fucking Hurley. I think that's the kind of guy you want as your head coach going into a situation like this. So I have no reason to believe that they are actively looking to get rid of him.
No, definitely not
actively. Right? Or would even want to. Like you said, I think it would have to be pretty drastically bad this year. I don't think like just missing the tournament isn't necessarily going to be grounds or is going to be enough for them to fire him. If you miss the tournament, in an embarrassing fashion, you're bottom of the conference, maybe. I think it's a different conversation, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Look, that is going to do it for today's show. Before we get out of here, I want to tell you a little bit about our friends over at Burrito Express. If you're listening to us and you're driving right now, do us a favor. Fucking skirt all the way over to Burrito Express because you got 9 minutes to get yourself a burrito.
Do it safely. Look in your mirrors. Turn on your blinker.
Well, yeah, do all those things.
Don't just skirt. Drive there safely.
Drive to Burrito Express safely.
The speed limit.
And you know what?
You can go.
If you're not going to do it today, do it tomorrow or the next day because Burrito Express, they're serving you guys all the time. And aside from the phenomenal food that they have, the customer service at Burrito Express is always, we talk about everybody that, like all of our partners feeling like family. Burrito Express feels like a family for sure.
Yeah, when you're here, you're family. Eat your hot at Olive Garden. No, you're not wrong. Like, genuinely, they're so kind. Yeah, I've only ever been to the Tempe location, if I'm being completely honest, because it's my favorite location.
Yeah, it's family.
It's family. And the people that work there are incredibly kind.
They're so nice. Time. If everybody was as nice as the people that serve you at Burrito Express, the world would be a better place.
There would be no war. There would be no hunger.
I just love. And
happiness.
Burritos. Guys, check out Burrito Express.
And green salsa.
They got locations all over the valley. And give them a follow on social at Burrito EXP.
Burrito EXP. Also go to the one that Danielle informed us yesterday is inside of a Circle K. That's crazy.
That is life-changing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were here. There was one. What was Baseline and Higley? Yeah. It's like Max didn't know that. Max is supposed to know everything about his sponsors. He didn't know that there was literally a combo Burrito Express Circle K. Unbelievable to me.
I'm in there like twice a week. I haven't had to order in years.
That's unbelievable.
I love Burrito Express.
I don't know how it took us so long to learn about that. And if you're learning about this for the first time, I don't know how it's taking you so long because we tell you all the time. You need to get on BetMGM.
Oh, that's true.
It is the best sports betting out there. They are always giving you out bonus bets, profit boosts.
Literally free money every week.
All the time. At least once a week, they're giving you a free bet. It's absurd.
Seriously, that's how I fuel my bets for Sundays.
Oh, I'm making money. As soon as the regular season is over and Corbin Carroll gets awarded the Rookie of the Year because he is, I'm getting money that I've just, there was a period of time where I was just pumping all of my free bets into Corbin Carroll Rookie of the Year futures, and they're about to pay off something nice.
Money.
So make sure you get in on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. You can place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app of at least $10, and you'll receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. So sign up for BetMGM, use that code PHNX, deposit those $10, place a bet of $10, and receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show full notes for details, and now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
Look, guys, that is going to officially do it for today's show. We will be back on Thursday live at 2 p.m. And from this point out, we're probably going to be talking ASU basketball and ASU football every single day. The only place that's giving you coverage that many times a day of all things ASU. So do what Donald said. Hit that damn like button.
Smash it.
Hit
Break
that
your
subscribe
mouse.
button. Give us a follow over at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You could follow this handsome man right here at Shawn_DePaz.
Just ready for basketball as always, baby.
Yes, sir. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. But in the meantime, peace.